My biggest setback over the last years as an entrepreneur, as working for myself, has been to stay grateful. I've been doing a lot of thinking in regards to why, after a certain amount of time, you start to become unhappy with the goals and the success that you've had, and you start to lose everything that you worked so hard for, even if you hit this new level of ability and person that you've become, and it's a circle. So I truly believe that first is that feeling of despair, that feeling of needing something to fill that void. So you start working hard, you start pouring in your heart to everything that you're doing, whether it be e-com, day trading, TikTok shop, even owning a trucking company. No matter what it is, that entrepreneurial venture that you are pushing yourself towards. And this hard work leads to gratitude because you are happy, you're excited, you see that it's starting to work. You see that you are starting to gain something from all the work that you've been putting into it. After that is the happiness. You start to gain happiness from all of the work that you've been pouring into it. And now you are grateful, you are happy, and next up you get those things that you've been wanting for, the goals that you've been longing for, short term. And because of this, you become happy, you start to enjoy life, you start to see all these things. And this happened to me in Bali, right? I was working hard, I didn't have anything. It happened to me multiple times. In California, it happened to me, where my biggest goal was to go to California. And after I got there, then I started to take advantage of it. So your gratefulness, next up, it disappears. You're no longer grateful, you are just happy. You are in the moment, you are not thinking about all the hard work that was poured into it, you forgot about it. And this happiness can only last so long. Without gratefulness, your happiness is just, it's an empty shell, right? You are living for the world, you're living for all of these things that you thought you wanted. And these things aren't bad. It's not an inherently bad thing, but it's how you use it. Because after the happiness, after you've already gotten rid of your gratefulness, you are back at square one. You've looped completely around the circle where you are no longer grateful, you're unhappy, and even though you're at a new plateau of life, compared to where you were months, years, weeks even before, now you're at square one, and now you have to restart the whole circle. And my whole belief, and I've talked with multiple people about this subject, and I've reflected on it a lot, and it's about happiness. It's about how can you prolong this cycle to where it's actually sustainable rather than a full circle of happiness, sadness, happiness, sadness, happiness, sadness. Because nobody wants to live like that. That's not why you're doing what you're doing, and that's not the reason you're on this video right now. And I truly believe that it is from the lack of God. So I struggle with this, right? I'm a Christian, and I always want to portray myself as that. I don't like doing all of the worldly things, even though sometimes they get a hold of me. But that lack of God, right? Because in my own circumstances, when I got kicked out of the Air Force, which was because of telling the truth, but that's another story. But when I got kicked out of the Air Force, I was reading the Bible constantly. I was reading entrepreneurial books constantly. I'm talking about 6, 7, 8 hours a day. And I was diving deep, and I felt whole, even though I had nothing, even though I was still in MedHold, which is a holding facility, for like 5 or 6 weeks. I felt a reason that I was there. And after this, and I started to work, and I started to find my way, and I started to find all these things that were working out for me. And after that, then I became grateful, right? I was reading the Bible, I was happy, I was excited for what was to come, because I am the type of person that knows that it is always going to work out. No matter what circumstance, life has shown me that life always works out if you allow it to. And this goes in towards another subject of dopamine and instant gratification and delayed reward, but to talk about God, after the gratefulness, you're in the Word, you're doing all these things, and I'm going to keep talking over the train, but after that, then the happiness, you start to neglect your beliefs, you start to neglect God, you start to lose your gratefulness because of that. So you have to remember to keep God in there, and it's so hard. Once you start to get those things, you start to have this curved belief that it is because of yourself, because of your hard work. And I've struggled with it a lot, and I know a lot of people that have struggled with it, that have gone through the same thing, because this is normal. A lot of you guys that are watching this video right now know that this is what happens, and you've been trying to figure out what that thing is. Why does this happen? Why? God, the lack of purpose, the lack of belief, because you're not doing this for yourself, if you want this to have longevity. You need to do this for others, and you need to do it in God's name. And you get blessed because of that. I saw it with myself. Once you hit that plateau, then he shows you how quick he can take it away. So whether this be in happiness, whether this be in circumstances around your life, or whether this be about your entrepreneurial venture, I've had this happen multiple times. So keep God in your mind, and remember that that is the whole purpose of why you're doing it, is you're going through life to get closer with God. And this is something that I am going to constantly need to check back on this video, but I know that this next bit is going to be big, and I'm excited for that. And I know that what God is putting in my life is for a reason, and that's a big thing you have to realize, is if something happens visually, then it's because you possibly asked him, Lord, humble me. Or if you lose everything to your name, he's humbling you. He's putting you in and reminding you that this isn't forever. This isn't because of you. This is given to you. And it's exciting. So you guys need to be excited by this. You guys need to touch in the Word of God. And if I have one thing, because I'm a mindset coach, right? I help rewire men's brains using neuroscience, health-based strategies, get into the life that they wanted, that I was able to achieve. But if there's one piece of advice that I would give you to start out, is dive deep in the Word. That is the biggest part of how you're going to be able to grow. So I'm excited for you guys, and keep killing it. Peace.